Hi everyone, it's Harry here from Year 13. I have Travis Hillman, Talent Acquisition Specialist from Naval Group Australia. Now, Naval Group Australia are the design and build partner for Australia's Future Submarine Program, playing a critical role in the construction and delivery of 12 world-leading attack-class submarines designed to keep Australia's shores secure for decades to come. So welcome, Travis, to the Year 13 Expo, and what a mammoth project to be a part of.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Harry. I look forward to sharing some information about Naval Group Australia and the Attack Class Submarine program today.
Brilliant. Me too. Okay, so before we get into the more nitty gritty about Naval Group and the Attack Class Submarine project you have on, do you mind sharing with me a bit about yourself? You know, your Year 13 experience, and of course what you do at the Naval Group.
Yeah, Harry, my Year 13 experience was was a good one for me, and it was some choices that I made through the later stages of high school, where tertiary education or furthering my education into a trade or something after graduating from high school wasn't the path that I chose. Decided to grab a backpack, travel, get overseas, gain some life experience and some hands-on working experience, which led me down a path to sort of personally and professionally develop through the course of early stages of my career. I then came back from some travel and a period where I lived and worked overseas, contacted a recruitment company looking for a job myself. And at that point, they said, why don't you come and work for us and work in our industry instead? So it's been an experience that's been, I guess, an enjoyable path in my journey. Through those life experiences that I gained traveling, I realized that I had some soft skills and skill sets that were suitable to working with people. Being in the recruitment industry was one that I really enjoyed. And over 10 years in the industry now, find myself working for Naval Group Australia as a talent acquisition specialist. So our business is largely a design and build program of a fleet of submarines, and we need a huge array of people to come and help us deliver this program. As a recruitment task, that's a really fun project to be involved in, because the varied sort of staff that we need in this business is good to be a part of recruiting.
Fantastic. And so, in a nutshell, your role is to fill the spots within the company in the particular areas required for development. So, if you're looking for designers or apprentices, you'll go out to the workforce and interview and fulfill those roles.
Yeah, absolutely. So the nature of our program and designing and building submarines is complex. It involves a huge amount of work and takes many years to deliver. What we need to do as a business is to build a capability within our workforce that can achieve those goals and deliver this program of work. So within that scope, the recruitment team work really hard to go out and inspire the next generation of engineers, trade staff, support staff to our business to come and transition their careers, make decisions through late stages of high school, make decisions as they finish off further education, make decisions around a trade or a path that they want to go on, and try and inspire them to come and join our industry and help us deliver the attack class submarine.
Fantastic. And okay, well, knowing that that's the passion and your purpose in your position, your role at Naval Group, can you tell us a bit more about Naval Group and I guess why there's a massive opportunity to get involved in your industry and of course, with the submarine project coming up?
Yeah, so Naval Group is a global defence prime, originated in France, but has been a company that has delivered and designed and built various pieces of defence equipment for various navies around the world or defence forces around the world. And Naval Group Australia has been established underneath that parent company to deliver Australia and the Royal Australian Navy its next fleet of submarines. So 12 attack class submarines. It's a program of work that will span about 50 years. And the capability that we have in our parent company that has, over 400 years of shipbuilding, design and build work, and 100 years of submarine design and build experience. That expertise is being transferred to Naval Group Australia to create a capability as what we call a sovereign capability for our customer for the Royal Australian Navy to design and build the submarines here in Adelaide in South Australia.
Fantastic. Okay, that gives me a good picture of the origin of the company. Those accumulated 500 years of experience in shipbuilding and submarine building, and also the importance of having that sovereign, approach to securing the nation's future as far as border security and just general kind of support to our Navy. Moving on, we know that the Naval Group has been tasked with this project of the construction and delivery of 12 world leading attack class submarines. Can you outline some of the pathway and employment opportunities available with this program?
Yeah, absolutely. In its simplest form, we're a business designing a submarine. We're a business procuring the equipment and developing a local supply chain to provide our business with the equipment and parts that we need to essentially then build a submarine at the end of, or as we move through build phases of the program. Within that, we've got a huge array of support staff that work to keep our business running. So from a HR department to a export control department to a IT department to many various sort of support functions. So to say that we're a business designing, procuring and building a piece of defence technology in a submarine is in its simplest terms what we are out to achieve, but we've got a huge array of sort of supporting functions to that. Right. At present, we're 275 staff here in Australia, but we will grow to sort of over 1,700 staff through the course of this program of work. It does mean that we've got many opportunities for experienced personnel or people to join our business that have come not only from within our current industry that we are in, but other industries where they bring their expertise and experience to a submarine platform for the first time. And then within that, because we do have our parent company with this sort of deep-seated amount of expertise in designing and building submarines, we've had some experienced professionals join us from other industry and other defence programs. We're able to create a really broad array of entry-level or more junior pathways and pathways for the next generation of people for our business. Given that our program will last such a long amount of time and we've got such a huge amount of work ahead of us, it's really important that we inspire students, inspire graduates, and get them thinking that their career and some of the choices that they make today, that they could come and help design and build a submarine via some of those early career pathways. So those early career pathways could be anywhere from engineering and not just qualified bachelor or qualified engineers, but those diploma in engineering or a traineeship with our business that have that enjoy CAD design and doing drafting work. It could also involve trade or apprenticeship type opportunities where we've got a huge number of metal trades and more traditional trades that we'll need through phases of building our submarines. So it's the size, scope and sort of scale of some of these entry pathways that are really exciting from a recruitment perspective and really inspiring, I think, for students to think that, this program, this opportunity to come and work on submarines will exist for many years in the future in Australia.
Brilliant. Yeah, absolutely. And you mentioned before that it was a 50-year horizon, this project, and you'll probably expand from 250 employees now to 1,700 across everything from the in-house roles being, accounting, HR, operations, project management, to the hands-on engineering, metal fabricators and things like that. It's also something else you mentioned, which I found pretty fascinating, is that, you'll have a large demand for engineers in this program. However, it's not just limited to those engineers with a university degree. There is the opportunity for traineeships and the Naval Group to support those individuals in their pursuit of an engineering career in engineering in the particular kind of fields that are required in the submarine building industry. So that's exciting to know. And just from a quick kind of time horizon, am I right in saying this is it's all kind of going to be taking place late next year, potentially 2023? Is that when these individuals thinking about a career in submarine building should, put a line in their diary, go, right, everything needs to be kind of ready. I need to start doing my my due diligence with regard to inquiring in an industry such as this?
Yeah, it's a really good point, Harry. So a little bit to unpack there, and I'll try my best to explain it. We are currently in a design phase of our program at the moment, and through stages of, coming up with a concept or basic and preliminary design of a submarine working with our customer. We will then, in later stages, get down to an aspect of detailed design within the program. And that's where the systems that we're designing, the capability and the requirements that we've established with our customer come down to great detail. And at phases, during that detailed design phase is when our build phase will start. All of that stuff is still to come. So whilst we've done a huge amount of work as being part of the Australian Future Submarine Program with our key partners associated to that over the last 4 or 5 years, we're still at the start of this very long journey. As to what that means is that a student can essentially make some decisions today around sort of career path choices. They can finish high school, finish their tertiary education, they can go and get a trade, they can go and travel the world, gain some life experience, and then really understand what their passions might be, what really sort of drives them or motivates them, and what they sort of are looking for out of their career. And hopefully one day come and knock on Naval Group's door to come and help us, build and put a submarine in the water. So in terms of the time frame, there's still just a lot to do in the future. We're currently building a submarine construction yard down at Osborne in South Australia. We're currently designing a submarine, and we've got these exciting phases of building still coming up. So if you're a student or a young person or someone that's in another career looking to transition their skill sets or looking for a bit of a sea change and to move their skills from one industry into another, there's certainly time on the side of those people if they want to remap their career path into an exciting piece of defence technology and a submarine program. The other thing I'll say as well, Harry, is that it's really interesting when you speak to people and they think about submarines and they think submarines are really complex. I don't know much about submarines, that they're probably not going to be suitable to my skill set. I guess I'm an exponent of someone that decided not to get a trade or didn't go down a path of higher education. I left school trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And, if you'd said to me, the younger version of me, one day you'll be doing the engineering recruitment for a company designing and building submarines, I would have said no.
No way,
yeah. It is really unique to know that our business and its breadth of opportunity is really suitable to transition people out of other industry or that knew very little about submarines to begin with, as is the nature of having a parent company that has been designing and building submarines for 100 years. Your business, the expertise is already embedded within it.
Okay, you make some fantastic points there. One being there's no immediate rush. Don't, for the listeners out there today, don't stress, I've got to quickly finish up and jump into my trade or jump into my degree or jump into my, my vet course to jump on this ship it's leaving. This is a 50 year long project. There's a design phase now, building out the shipyard. So it gives you plenty of time, which is necessary to do the things you want to do, to pursue your passions, or pursue a time traveling after university after school to determine who you are and what you want to kind of do. And all the while know the background, there's a massive opportunity for you to get involved with. And again, on top of that, it's not as Travis mentioned, it may sound like a daunting, way out of my reach. I could never work on a submarine. That's too technical, too, like high end. These, second to Naval Group's 500 years in the industry, there's so many small roles and particular skills required for the submarine to come together. And when you break it down, they're actually probably quite not simple, but they're achievable and skills that are transferable across, especially in the trade and engineering side. They're things that are, that you learn in other industries that can be applied to the submarine building. So it's definitely an achievable industry to get involved in.
That's exactly right, Harry. So it's, the other scenario that we commonly talk about with people is to say that a submarine is it's an underwater world, right? That needs to sort of be offshore and go underwater, and everything that you do. So the Royal Australian Navy, when they're using a submarine in the future, will need to do more or less everything that they do on land or at home or going to work. They're out there at work. They're out there living. They're out there cooking dinner. They're out there, operationally delivering what they need to for our defence forces. So when you think about the complexity of that, you think, gee, it's just life on a submarine as we know it on land. And then when you think about the technology within a submarine and what drives it and what makes it work, it has batteries. There are batteries in many things.
Yeah, wow.
A propeller. There are propellers on many things. There's common technology that sort of exists. We'll need welders to weld together the steel and fabricate it. Well, many industry have really experienced weld capability, fabrication capability, and have been doing it on other, be it land vehicles or aerospace equipment. So there's a lot of transferable skill sets. We want to break down some of those barriers to say that individuals say, "Oh, I don't know much about submarines. It seems a bit sort of complex for my skill set." We're here to sort of inspire people to think differently and to say that we need those subject matter experts, the brilliant welders in one industry, to come and help us weld together our submarine, or a subject matter of X, Y, and Z. We'll need those expertise in the technology or detail of equipment, or even in roles like finance or HR or project management, that aren't just strictly engineering or trade.
Definitely, absolutely. It's such an accessible industry if you look at it in that way, which is the truth. Now, thinking about the personal attributes that you think a student, or a future employee, an apprentice or an engineer, or in the front of house side, what are these attributes that you think would do someone well looking to get into the naval and submarine building industry?
I think there's various attributes in individuals that can separate them, and it can be very specific to the industry or role that they're interested in. I think finding that sort of underlying passion or purpose that an individual has is really important. It's probably something that, as a recruiter or as an employer, to sort of to try and tease that out in individuals is a really fun task. What do they do for a living, or what do they do for work, versus what they're really passionate about, and going through that journey of understanding that through the course of your career, like we all do. It's something that you probably learn in retrospect about yourself. I think if I spoke to the younger version of myself, it would be, I probably wouldn't have changed too many decisions that I did make at the time. But it's funny what you learn along the way as to what you enjoy doing. So the advice on some of the softer skills that individuals, should really sort of focus themselves on, I think it's focusing on softer skills that you're not great at. Focus on softer skills that are aligned to the passions or the type of work that you want to do. And I also think don't be too afraid of some choices that you might make if you're still trying to figure some of this stuff out along the way. There's certainly nothing wrong with that. There's a lot of personal growth that happens throughout the course of your life and early stages of your career. We've got an amazing education department. We've got amazing sort of tertiary and pre-voc sort of opportunities for the students these days. And those institutions are great at taking young minds and giving them skills that they didn't have. But the softer skills are stuff that you'll develop as you go along in life. And generally speaking, from my experience, those that sort of have the softer skills aligned to those passions of what they want to do in their life and their career are ones that really sort of stand out for us.
Awesome. That's great advice. And it is that skill of, looking at yourself and finding out what particular strengths you have or what particular areas for development or opportunity, and then aligning that with a particular career path. And, if that is, if you're still at school and you're thinking about, right, I want to maybe work with my hands. Okay, what skills do I need to develop in order to work with my hands as a future? And then what ancillary skills are included in that? Right, communication is important because, that begs the question that you're working with a team and you're doing something technical. You need to be able to communicate things you need, or opportunities and challenges and whatnot. And then conversely, if you're thinking about, if you are already working, if you already have this skill set and you need to maybe develop those areas, or there's areas you've noticed that you need to kind of explore, if it's communication, for instance, or other soft skills, working in a team, start to think about future industries, such as the submarine building industry, that's going to have a job security for 50 to 60 years. It'll likely see you through to retirement. Think about how you can start to channel those existing skills you have into an area that would suit that. So that's great advice there, Travis. Thank you so much. The last question I have is around, like, we know that this industry is in its kind of infant stage, and we're looking through design at the moment. You're building out your shipbuilding facilities. Where's the best place to go for support, to ask questions, to find out what the opportunities are available and when?
Yeah. Common question that we have as well, Harry, is sort of, I love the idea of what's happening in this space. I want to keep in touch with the information and know more about what's going on in the future. Aside from the individual companies working in this space and their websites, our website is a great source of information for early careers and early pathway information, context around getting to know us and our industry. And from there, most kids, anyone these days can jump on the internet and find out more information about Naval Group and the Future Submarine Program, about BAE and the frigates program, and then the work that they're doing on the offshore patrol vessels. The defence industry is expanding really quickly, and it's been made possible by some really great investments by the government to sort of create and broaden these industries. The shipbuilding industry in South Australia specifically is really well supported by the Naval Shipbuilding College. That's a really solid point of call for students wanting to seek more information and register their details and interest into what's going on, not just only with our business, but the broader industry. So, I would love to say, come and, pop into Naval Group's website every sort of few months, see what's going on, follow us on socials, be it on LinkedIn and Facebook. We're always sort of connecting there to our network of people that are interested in what we're doing. There's sort of a couple of mediums provided in that scenario that sort of those interested in this industry down the track can log and register their details to keep ahead of the information.
Fantastic. What great advice. So that's naval-group.com.au, and then you'll easily find the careers page there and all the links you need to know to inquire, to keep up to date. And of course, be sure to follow them on the social channels that you use. And there's also, Travis, you mentioned that there are some, other industry companies and organizations such as the Navy Shipbuilding College, which is a government-funded organization, if I'm not mistaken, which would, I imagine, is a feeder program for Naval Group. So another great place to inquire is with the Navy Shipbuilding College of South Australia. So a great opportunity to, even if it is just broadening your opportunities across the Navy shipbuilding industry, from the frigates with BAE systems, and also the huge 12 attack class submarine program with Naval Group Australia. So fantastic advice.
There is some great sources of information out there. It's a great industry to be a part of. I speak on personal experience in that regard to say that I was new to this industry. When I joined, I probably, like everybody else, thought around the defence industry and just aligned my thought to that, to just being in the Defence Force, being in the Navy or Air Force. But then you quickly realise that our Defence Force uses pieces of equipment and technology that is exceptionally cool, cutting edge, and technically advanced, and to sort of join the industry supporting the Defence Force and being part of a private company or a contracted company to deliver one of those, like I said, cool pieces of equipment is something that's quite inspiring to sort of come and be a part of. So you don't just have to be an engineer or a trade or a in one of the technical based roles. Even like myself, you can work in a HR and recruitment role and coming to work each day feeling sort of inspired that you're making a contribution to a pretty technical piece of equipment for our Defence Force to use.
Brilliant. Yeah, and that's another, I'm not surprised talking to the talent acquisition specialist Naval Group is that, you've got a great way of words of kind of, explaining the opportunities, but also the benefits of working in industry. It's a great point. Submarines are typically associated with Defence Force, and that is maybe a different commitment from a career point of view, but there is the opportunity to contribute, feel like you're, giving back to the country, supporting the nation's future from a security point of view, whilst also pursuing your personal career aspirations of working in a private organization and having that kind of corporate or technical kind of challenge as an engineer, as a trade, or as a front of house, in HR, marketing, accounting, and departments such as that. So unfortunately, Travis, as much as I've enjoyed this conversation, I've learned, a whole heap, and you've debunked so many theories I had about submarines. That's all the time we have for our conversation today. But I wanted to thank you, especially for providing your time, to giving us a bit of background about as I mentioned, the often, hidden industry of submarine building, and what's the opportunities available in this industry, the 50-year program you have coming up with the 12 attack class submarines, and then most importantly, how accessible this industry is. It's not just a submarine shouldn't be looked at as this unachievable kind of thing to be able to be a part of from a construction, design, planning, or implementation point of view. There's roles for everyone, irrespective of your skill set and irrespective of what industries you've worked in before. So again, thank you so much, Travis. Thank you again to the Naval Group Australia for providing us this opportunity. It's been brilliant. Thank you, Travis.
Thanks for having me, Harry. Appreciate it.